Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Goddamn right.
To the fam, what's happening, fam? Thank y'all for being in this episode. Welcome. Now, watch the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys for the intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fans. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the live, man. Hit that like button. Don't hit the sub button if you're not a sub. Much love to all the new subscribers of the Coma, man. Y'all, welcome y'all into this episode. Friday episode, man, the preview stream, man, between week number 2, Saints getting ready for the 49ers. His redemption week, in my opinion. A lot of disrespect coming to the Saints via national media, with the big spread. I think it's still 3-point spread with the 49ers, a team without the starting quarterback, starting tight end, one of their best wide receivers. Another one of the other receivers are struggling in Jennings. These guys are missing. But still, with the 49ers are 3-point favorites in the Saints down there. And the Saints have relatively all their bats. So when that happens, you just got to slap the piss out of the 49ers. In the game. It's just what they got to do. They got to show up and have some pride about themselves. I mean, good Lord. But big ups to you guys. I mean, you're full of pride, full of love and common sense and all that good stuff. Shout out to y'all. Good to see y'all. OG Jerry. Good to see you in the stream, my boy. Good to see you as always. Pelicans, no shout out to you. Appreciate you, fam. OG Joe, shout out to you, my brother, for being a member for the last 15 months. Shout out to the OG Jerry, man. Much love to you, brother. This was for you.
Donations. 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 Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts.
Shout out to you, OG. Appreciate you, man. Much love, appreciate you for being in the stream. Bronze, I see you, Bronze. Much love. Much love. Appreciate y'all, man. What's up, Bam? Shout out to you, Bam. James in the building as well. Good to see you. Jack, what's up, man? Says Q sounds like he's locked up in Maker's closet. I hope my sound good, man. How that sound? That sound all right? Gotta put one in the chat if y'all can hear me. All right? All right? Yeah, count on it. Shout out to you, man. All right, what's up, Bill? Dub, shout out to you, bro. All right, man. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear me well, man. I will make sure my sound is all right before I carry on. But listen, fam, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. I'm trying not to keep it too long on the Coma, man. But listen, man, it's just it's a lot of foolishness going on in terms of with the Saints, and it's only one way to handle the situation. The Saints have to smack this team down. Ain't no doubt about it. They got to smack this team and smack them all the way down. What's up, Dr. Good? Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you for being in live as well. All right, man. Let's keep busy, man, in this episode. The injury report that the Saints are dealing with right now, man. And of course, we know Chase is out for his second game, so is Trevor Penny. We know that's not a surprise. Julian Blackman is on the IR. He's listed out as well. Questionable is Tyler Fuaga. It's called limited, but it's questionable for the game with that knee issue. We'll see how the Saints handle it for the game time decision to see if it'll be good to go. But it is a long season. So we'll see. Velus Jones Jr. went from limited to full practice, so that's good. Zach Wood went from DMP to fully practice. That is super positive. And you don't usually see that too often when you see a player who went limited, then went DMP, and then went full FP. That rarely happens, but Zach Wood did it, so that was a disaster averted from the long snap position. Jordan Howden is also good to go from the oblique issue that he's been dealing with as our safeties. We need our safeties with Julian Blackman out. We need our safeties to play at a high level. Nick Bosa is good to go, so is Yetil Gross Matos. Juwan Jennings is listed as questionable. He went from DNP to LP as a new one, but he banged up with the shoulder. Christian McCaffrey, ain't nothing wrong with him. He had a calf issue. He gave him some rest, and he's good to go for the game. Brock Purdy is out. So Mac Jones would be the guy. Trent Williams is questionable. He was limited. He went DNP to LP, limited with a knee issue as well. Another problem. Ben Barch, the guard, is also fully practiced from a knee and elbow situation. Jordan James, the running back, is good to go. So is Jordan Watkins, the wide receiver. Linebacker Luke Gifford is good to go. So Mac Jones also is on the list. He has a knee issue. He fully practiced. And guard Dominic Pooney is also good to go. So this is all of it. A lot of injuries for the 49ers early on. The Saints have a few things, man, but, it's good to see the Saints list has shrunk as opposed to really look like the 49ers. They really gone through it, man. So anyway, man, it's going to, like I talked about, fam, it's going to be very interesting to see how this looks going forward. But, man, listen, man, this is going to be an interesting matchup no matter how you slice and dice it. But it is what it is. The banged up Niners seeking second straight road win against the Saints. Rebuilding Saints, as they call them. And this will be an interesting game. You see NFL odds have the 49ers by 4.5 against the spread. Niners cut, one of those Saints only one. Although, they did what they did last week. Series record, the Niners way over the Saints, 15-27-2. Of course, the Niners leaked out a win in Seattle, 17-13. The Saints had a win and let it get away from them in the Dome against the Cardinals. It's redemption week. You got to get it together. All right, so last meeting, the Niners beat the Saints 13-0 back in 2022. It's just what it is, man. We're looking to do a little something different. Now, it talks about a few players they mentioned, and we'll talk about some of these guys. 49ers players to watch. Ricky Parasol is the 49ers outside weapon in the second year. 4 catches for 108 in the opener. 14 catches, 210 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the final 2 games last year. In Parasol's rookie season, he was hindered. He was shot in a robbery attempt a week before the opener, forcing him to miss the first games. He's healthy and here to make an impact for the 49ers in the wide receiver room. And also players to kind of talk about. Juwan Johnson, most productive player in the passing game, 8 catches last week for 76 yards to drop, looking to kind of redeem himself against the 49ers and make right the wrongs of week 1. And if they talk about the key matchups, which is New Orleans' diverse blitzing scheme under Brandon Staley, which had 5 sacks last week against Kyler Murray, against the Niners blockers and Mac Jones, who set the start in place of Brock Purdy. Now, we mentioned key issues and injuries with these guys. In the bottom line, if you look at the depth chart, and this is the potential depth chart for the 49ers, you can see Mac Jones is there, Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson Jr., who they traded from the Washington Whataburger team. Isaac Galrindo is there as well, and scat back Jordan James. 4 running backs Shanahan is trying to use. Juwan Jennings is supposed to play in this game with Ricky Parasol and Kendrick Bourne, who they bring back. They also have MBS, who they bring there, who hadn't fully got acclimated. Jordan Watkins is also dealing with issues from the wide receiver position. Though George Kittle is out, Luke Farrell and Jake Tongs are available, and Kyle Juszczyk is also there, so they can use Kyle Juszczyk as a weapon as well. Trent Williams has a knee issue, but the rest of the line is there. Brock Purdy was started straight, kind of. That's Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. They make the Niners go. But of course, man, as we look at it, man, we do have to hop right into it. The bottom line is for the Saints to get keys to victory, and let's get right to it, man. No, all of this other kind of stuff. We'll get into the stuff about whether or not, for the Saints to avoid the 0-2 start, back-to-back losses for the first time. The last time they did it back in 2017. We got to do something about the penalties, right? The penalties have to stop. The 13 penalties was ridiculous. Even if the Saints cut that in half, that'll be a big-time improvement. Smart football is definitely needed before we even talk about scheme and one-on-one matchups. Before we even talk about challenging the other team, the dumb penalties, the pre-snap, unintelligent, brain-dead penalties have to stop. Guys have to line up correctly and know what's going on the field, or get them the hell off the field. Bottom line. So that kind of stuff, the shooting in yourself in the foot factor must stop. And it starts there first with smart football play. Then, of course, the next thing will be for the Saints to have success up against the San Francisco 49ers. The Saints will have to be prepared to stop the 49ers from running the football. That's the bottom line. The next thing is stopping the 49ers from running that football. With Purdy out and Kittle's out, they're going to lean heavily on Christian McCaffrey. They're going to lean on McCaffrey. And like I showed you guys that chart with them. This is the particular depth chart with Christian McCaffrey running the ball. Brian Robinson Jr. is a good north-south runner. Lorenzo is kind of a similar back, and Jordan James more of a scat back type guy. Shanahan is a very intelligent coach. He's a very brilliant offensive play caller as well. Running the offense, he's really good at that. Has a good unit and understands what he got going on. But at the same time, the 49ers are going to try to run the ball. They're going to lean heavily on Christian McCaffrey in the running attack. They're going to try to get Ricky Parasol involved in that, and Kendrick Bourne, and try to get these guys going. Even MBS, they're going to have to try to run the ball, set up the play action so they can attack downfield with their weapons. Kyle Juszczyk is another guy that they're going to try to get involved in that, blocking, of course, the run game as well as the passing game with him, because he could catch the ball out the backfield and do stuff for him. So I would not underestimate anything Kyle Shanahan doing, as long as he have a Christian McCaffrey and some of them other guys. He'll work through them to the best of his ability, because he still has a strong defense to do it. So the keys to the victory is the Saints, outside of the penalties, stopping of the stupid penalties, the Saints have to stop it. Or at least slow down a great deal the 49ers running attack, starring Christian McCaffrey. So it'll be interesting. So the Saints do have a history. They played against Jones when he played for New England, and they just tore him apart. They picked the man off like 5 times and sacked him 4 times. And he was sacked like, I think, a dozen times in the 7 starts. And then when he ran with Jacksonville last year, so he wasn't very good there. But we know how we are with some of these quarterbacks. The Saints have to do a much better job of handling the business in terms of that, as far as that. So that's one of the keys to victory. 2 of the keys to victory is being smart with in terms of the pre-snap penalties, cutting them half or severely eliminating them as much as possible. Be prepared to deal with the likes of Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson Jr. in the running attack, and an attempt by Shanahan to get the wide receivers going. The ones that are healthy. Parasol is a capable guy. Kyle Juszczyk is also a weapon that you need not to be. Don't underestimate Juszczyk either. So these are a couple of players we have to be on the lookout for as well going forward. And of course, another thing is the once we get that done, and on the attack game from the 49ers, we have to then be on the lookout for the stellar play of the defense. We got to spread out the defense. So defense is a very decent unit, but beyond decent, Nick Bosa is a supreme weapon for the San Francisco 49ers. The guy is just a hell of a player. He's one of the top edge rushers in the game, and he's almost unstoppable. So the Saints will have to do a good job of knowing what Nick Bosa is and severely limiting his production as much as possible. dealing with the likes of Spencer Rattler. We don't want to see Nick Bosa knocking Rattler down and dragging him down in sacks Sunday in the dome. We need to see that. Also, Michael Williams is another dude. Michael Williams is on the opposite side. He's doing his thing. He's a very athletic guy from University of Georgia that's supposed to be a pair to him, but the 49ers are going to try to get those guys going, the Bosa and Williams going. They get after you. Another fantastic player to be aware of is Fred Warner, excellent linebacker who runs that defense. He's good in pass, good in run support, really intelligent linebacker. Get those guys lined up the proper way. It's going to be fun watching. A lot of people believe that the 49ers, if their defense have a weak point, is in the secondary, that we might be able to attack downfield against the secondary. The interesting thing about the Saints is, as we get into the keys of victory, as we continue the keys of victory, is that the Saints have to get the running attack going with Spencer Rattler. You can't be throwing the ball 40-something times against the 49ers. That's just not a recipe for this. That's not a recipe for success. That's a recipe for disaster. We can't have 40-something odd attempts from Spencer Rattler and thinking the Saints are going to do something. We can't have that. We have to be able to rely on the most reliable player, one of the most reliable players we have, in Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara had a fantastic start of the game. Like I said before in previous broadcasts, that Saints as a collective had 75 rushing yards at halftime of last week's game. And when the game was over with, they finished like with 107 or 102, something like that, which is ridiculous, which means you barely got anything in the second half. That has to change. The Saints have to know that Alvin Kamara is just not some running back in the room somewhere. Alvin Kamara is a featured player that you need to give the ball to. Or if he needs to at least be on the field, Kellen Moore, you have to understand who you have. If you have Christian McCaffrey, who's a guy as a featured back, Alvin Kamara has the same, if not a little bit more of the same skill set of the Christian McCaffrey. These are, so far as these are elite level running backs, is what I'm saying. When you have elite level running backs like Elvin or Christian McCaffrey, you got to feature those guys. They have to be on the field. Even if they're not catching the ball, they're still a decoy to provide opportunities for other players who are on the field. And Elvin doesn't have to be a running back. If you want to have Kendry or Devin Neal in there, you can still have Kamara out there, even if you split him out as a wide receiver. He can do that too. So he's going to, Kellen Moore has to understand that Alvin Kamara and Kendrick Miller need to be heavily involved in the running attack, and that's a part of the game. Now, in order for the running attack to work, the Saints' offensive line must do a way better job of run blocking. They did a decent job in spots. I think they hurt the running attack a lot was the penalties, the holdings, one step forward, two step back type thing, but they need to be more dominant. Especially McCoy, they had a few holding penalties and this type of stuff. Everybody was kind of having a little difficulty at week one. The lines as a unit needs to be better and solid. They have to be very solid because they're lining up against Bosa and Williams. Those guys can get off the edges and get after you and cause problems. So the Saints going to have to be on a timing game. Like we've seen in the first week, you've seen the Saints had a faster rhythm style offense, almost similar to a 2-minute offense, but it was just hurrying up and trying to run a rhythm style pace, have a pace to the offensive rhythm to the pace, or the rhythm or pace to their sets, which kind of puts some pressure on the defense to kind of line up, not allowing them to do their thing, this type of stuff. So the Saints would have to come with that. You're going to have to get the ball out fast with Bosa and these guys on the edges. You're going to have to be decisive. Guys going to have to catch the ball. And the fact that you're going to have to, we need to see Devon Valley more in these wide receiver sets. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Devon Valley needs to be out there. They need to have some sort of mismatch on the wide receiver side of things. And Kellen Moore needs to get that straight. We know Valley's inexperienced, but at the same damn time, that don't mean nothing right now because you traded picks to get him here. He has to get the reps to get better. That's the bottom line. Plus, he's one of these older 7-round pick players where you got to put him in there. He got to roll right now. The hell with everything else. He has to produce. He's the only that size and that speed and that size of receiver on the field. We need to have that guy on the field. So that's some of the things the Saints need to do in terms of the offensive line, better play. Trench play is most certainly going to be needed for the Saints. I mean, insofar as protecting the quarterback and running the ball. They're going to have a test against the 49ers defense. And the fact of the matter is, on the defensive side of the ball, like I said, the Saints will have to slow down Christian McCaffrey and Robinson. They're going to have to slow those guys down and get pressure. 5 sacks last week against the scrambly Kyler Murray. Mac Jones isn't as spry as Kyler Murray, so the Saints really need to keep that pressure coming. And perhaps we can create some interceptions, maybe a couple of turnovers to help flip the field and give Saints easier opportunities. All right, so that needs to be a part of the game, big time. And like I said, the Saints really need to get the wide receiver game together so we can pressure the 49ers secondary. We need to really test that secondary and spread out that team and get that ball downfield. So personnel is a big part of it. We'll see what Kellen Moore has. But in the game, man, like I said, it's going to come down to just smart football and just locking in and doing the right thing. We're in our building. These 49er team is banged up. They're missing, like I said, Brock Purdy, Kittles. They're missing, what's the other, what's his name? Not Aiyuk, but the other guy, the other kid. What's his name? Yeah, Brandon Aiyuk. They missing him. I mean, these people missing everybody, every damn body. They miss damn near everybody. But like I said, we still do not undersell them. But the bottom line is, they're coming into your building. You consider them an underdog. These people are banged up. You got to whoop these people up. You got to smack them up. That's the bottom line. Does Kellen Moore get his first win as a New Orleans Saint quarterback? Does he get it against this 49er team? I say yes, he does. I think yes, he does get it. Now, anyway, let me get to keys to victory. Here, so establish the running game. Utilize multiple running backs, stressing the importance of establishing a strong running game and involving both Alvin Kamara and Kendrick Nunn. Pressuring Mac Jones. The Saints must put consistent pressure on the 49ers backup, right? Contain Christian McCaffrey and do everything they can to kind of get him in there and knock him down. Pressure him. Saints must consistently put pressures on that backup. And of course, contain McCaffrey. With 49 players out, McCaffrey be the major threat. Saints need to limit his impact as a runner and a receiver. Avoid the penalties. The Saints had a high number of penalties in week 1, and eliminating them would be crucial. Protect the quarterback. The Saints offensive line needs to contain the 49ers pass rush and protect Spencer Rattler. Exploit the 49ers injuries. The 49ers are dealing with several injuries, including quarterback Purdy, tight end Kittle. The Saints need to capitalize on. So these are the keys to victory for the Saints to handle up and do what they need to do so that we can get what we need to get, which is a victory and a win over this 49ers team. Nothing long, drawn out, nothing terribly complicated. This is just simply is what it is. That's the hell we need to do. So there was no ifs and buts about it. All right, so let me hear from you guys. In the stream, shout out to you guys at the like button. Yeah, Jack says Williams is a beast. He's on the other side of both, so you got to watch out for that guy as well. And like I said, you got Tyler dealing with a knee issue. The Saints got to get the ball out to help themselves. What's up, Black Nation? Shout out to you, King Shows. What's up, brother? How you doing? What's up, Tasha? Shout out to Tasha. Shout out to the Queens. What's up, Debbie? Shout out to Debbie. Big Smoke. What's up, my brother? How you doing? So appreciate you. Pocket 504. What's happening? Hemisphere says Taysom took another contract restructure. Could this be the last year for Taysom? New Orleans have signed of retiring after the season. I think this is probably Taysom's last year here with the Saints. Yeah, I think that's really Taysom's last year with the New Orleans Saints. And I think it's time for the Saints to start seeing about developing his talent and moving forward. So yeah, I do think this is Taysom's last thing. All right. All right, Rachel says, what's up, Q? The keys to victory would be the running, the offensive line blocking for the run game and the passing game. Gray says, I'm muffled. Can y'all hear me? Put one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Man. Gray says, I'm muffled. Can y'all guys hear me okay? Y'all let me know. Can y'all hear me okay? Put one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Gray says, I'm muffled. Can you guys hear me? Put one if you can hear me. Just gonna y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Y'all says Q. Who are the referees for the game? I'm gonna have to look that up. My bad. I ain't looked it up. Yeah, one sounds muffled. Just a second thing. Okay, it says sound a little muffled. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to speak up a little bit more. Yeah, Beverly says yes, but muffled. Okay, y'all can hear me, but a little muffled. Okay. All right, that's probably the best I can do right now with that thing. Hope that works out though. Yeah, it says sound like I'm underwater. Yeah, I am. My connection's really not that good tonight. So um, do the best we can do with it tonight. All right, so yeah, that's probably the best I can do with it tonight, man. My connection's not that. Yeah, since we keep on the submarine today, yeah, I'm a little muffled. Motherboard, okay. All right, yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that, fam. Yeah, my connection's not that good tonight. It'll be better tomorrow, but I mean, again, yeah, muff. Okay, we can hear you though. Okay, thank you. All right, anyway, man, let me kind of push on it. Yeah, that's the bottom line, man. So let me kind of do the keys of victory one more again for those who probably uh, heard, didn't hear it. We speak a little clearer. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. All right, let's see. Keys of victory. Once again, establish the run and utilize multiple running backs, stressing the importance of strong running attack with Alvin and Kendrick. Also adding the fact that we need to have we need to get the offensive line back right here. We know Tyler's dealing with a knee issue. Kelvin Banks Jr. is a rookie, but they're going to be tested often. Nick Bosa and Williams are coming to the dome to put pressure on Spencer Rattler. They're going to have to get that ball out faster. Spencer have to be a little bit more decisive, and he has to remain and keep his pose, even though these 49ers edge rushers is completely stressed, especially Bosa. These guys are elite level players, especially Bosa. Fred Warner, the linebacker, is an excellent player as well. So the defense has some really good people in it that we have to be mindful of. So the Saints offensive line is going to have to step up and play. Be diligent and handle business, man, bottom line, right? Pressure Mac Jones. Saints must put consistent pressure on 49ers backup over and over again. 5 sacks against Kyler Murray last week. We got to put pressure on Mac Jones. He doesn't move that well, but the Saints really need to do similar work. And maybe this time around we can turn him over, get a pick, get a couple of picks or some turnovers that can help us in that, on that side of things as well. So maybe we can do that, and have help there. Contain Christian McCaffrey with the key with 49ers players out. McCaffrey will be a major threat. Saints need to limit his impact. And as a runner and receiver, avoid the penalties. When we talk about the penalties, 13 penalties for 80 something yards in the first week is stupid. It's an undisciplined style of play we were involved in week one. I'm gonna chalk that up to Emmett to just being inexperienced, being that the Saints hadn't played the starters in that capacity, in a situation where you've seen all the disharmony and disjointed play. That kind of stuff happens when these guys don't often, if they haven't played consistently together, they don't know the idiosyncrasies of their teammates. They don't know the harmony's not there yet. 13 penalties, people moving around, this kind of stuff that has to be cut down. So I think Kellen Moore said in pressers, he took especially focus. He's being paid to focus, special focus to that side of things to make sure the Saints don't have all these silly penalties, right? Protect the quarterback. Saints offensive line need to contain the pass rush. That's a big thing right there. 49ers are going to send those guys after the Saints in the dome on Sunday. They're going to send Bosa and Williams and Warner even after Spencer Rattler. The thought process of the day would be that the 49ers have to blitz the absolute living hell out of Spencer Rattler. That would be the thing. They're going to be sending linebacker safeties. They're going to fire Bosa and Williams off the edge at him. And the Saints have to be ready and be prepared to stand tall. And not only that, but Spencer Rattler's going to have to be decisive and get the ball out of his hands. Don't stand back there and get frizzled. Don't get the deer eyes and eyes drop down to field level. When you're not looking upfield to make the throws. And this is just something that the Saints going to have to be working with. And hopefully there'll be some personnel changes from Kellen Moore, meaning we'll see Valley in a larger role in the Saints offense. And we'll see Elvin Kamara and these guys, Kendra, in a larger role in the Saints offense. The offense has to flow through Elvin Kamara and a running attack, not through Spencer Rattler. It can't work like that. Elvin must be what the Saints use to feature to have something. He's the best player. It'll give the defense something to latch on to, and then you could be able to take advantage of them keying in on Elvin with other players. And of course, one of the big things we talk about is exploiting the 49ers injuries. The 49ers are dealing with a bunch of injuries right now, including I talked about Brock Purdy and George Kittles and Brandon Aiyuk. These guys are out. These guys represent a significant amount of the offense for the San Francisco 49ers. And when those guys are out, you're supposed to beat them. Mac Jones shouldn't come in the dome and get a W against the Saints. The 49ers shouldn't be even favored against the New Orleans Saints with all of those people missing. They need to take that as disrespect. That's the bottom line. They need to take that as disrespect. How dare you think that you can spot these people 4.5 or 3 points or whatever the hell it is. They come up in here with these people missing and think you're going to do something with me. It's just not, they need to take that as a disrespect and play with some pride and play with some upsetness. You see what I'm saying? That's what the hell they need to do. All right, but anyway, man. Yeah, Beverly says he got to use his weapons. What's up, Cartel? Shout out to you, bro. What's up, Jason? Jack says, Mickey, siphon too much of Nola's infrastructure money. They can't invest in the download spreads. All right, Tanya says, Spencer Rattler got to understand AK is his saving grace. That's right. All right, thank you. Nathan says, a little bit. Okay. All right, thank you, bro. Sorry about that muffled sound thing. Sorry about that tonight. Like I said, I'm kind of moving around, and this is the best I got tonight. My connection ain't all that. So, this is just what it is for tonight. But y'all know my stand. But anyway, the reality is we have to do a better job, man, just from an intelligence standpoint, a discipline standpoint, all the intangibles. Good teams are smart teams. Good teams are smart teams. Good teams are intelligent teams with discipline that know what to do and what not to do, who don't hurt themselves. They make the play when the play present themselves. They're not perfect, but they make the play when the play presents itself. That's how the stuff goes. So we have to get that in order. So believe in that sort of thing. They give you a banged up team, and you get a win against this team, and you really should have beat the Cardinals in week 1. You kind of gave that away because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. It makes you a winner. Team Spencer gets his first win as a quarterback. Anything to be well deserved. The Saints have to take care of business against this banged up team. They have to take care of business. But it's against building as well. All right. So anyway, if y'all got any questions, please feel free to throw it in the chat because we'll see what it is. Devon Valley has to show up, man. No doubt about it. But Devon Valley has to show up in this game. Kellen Moore has to have this guy a part of the offense. We can't have a 6'5" wide receiver who got 1 catch for 13 yards in week number 1. This guy who gave up 2 picks to get, you got to get this man involved in the offense. You got to be one of the top wide receivers that's out there with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, as you can see here. Valley needs to be mentioned in here, not Brandon Cooks. And also, like I said, when you're doing all that, they activated Jack Stahl for blocking, tight end blocking purposes, but they also have Matavo. Matavo, as you can see, is 6'8" and 262 pounds. That's a red zone guy. You should not be struggling in the red zone when you have a 6'5" wide receiver and a 6'8" tight end. Kellen Moore got to know his personnel, man. You got to know the personnel. You got to know who these guys are. You bring these guys on the team. You got to know how to use them. You got fast guys. You got guys. You got to know how to use these people, man. If you're talking about speed, you got to know how to use these people to spread out that 49ers defense and get up there. Make them honest. open up some running lanes for us and for your running backs. We got to do a better job there, man. No things and buts about it. So I'm confident in the defense. I think our defense will get it done. I will put pressure on Mac Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints turn out another 4-5 sack effort with a couple of turnovers to go along with it. But when we get turnovers, we got to do more than kick field goals with them. We got to put touchdowns on the board, man. That's what we got to do. And another point to talk about here. We know Chase Young is out. We'll probably see another dose of Cam Jordan playing, Chris Rump, an activation of Jonah Williams along with Bill Biggs, who was found to the practice squad. So we can see these guys could be activated like they were in week one to provide depth for our defense. And of course, another defensive note to talk about is the Jonas Sanker card. Jonas Sanker is going to start for the Saints in the safety room. And I think it's good for him to start against a quarterback like Mac Jones. Mac Jones might give him a pick. I like to see Sanker's the future of the safety position. We're looking at him a little earlier than we wanted to because of the Blackman injury, but still Sanker's back there, and we'll see. Perhaps the Saints will activate another safety. Like I said, we have a couple of people in the safety room that's located on the practice squad the Saints can bring up and add to the team. So, they damn sure they're probably going to make that move because they didn't bring anybody in here this past week. So they're going to kind of rely and lean on what they had already on the team. So we'll see guys like that pop in, step up and see what they can do from the safety perspective. Ugo and those guys are here. We know that. We also realize that, really, like I said, the safeties, what's his name off Terrell Burgess. He's what I'm thinking about. Burgess played really well in the training camp and the preseason. He's a 5-year veteran out of Utah. So Burgess could be activated. And of course, they got Elliott Davis there, but I'm probably looking at them leaning on elevating Terrell Burgess to act as an extra safety if they need him to. So that's a few things. And I'm actually pretty cool with how the Saints defense, I think the Saints defense would get pressure to get after Mac Jones. The 49ers did make some changes from their side of things in terms of their special teams. 49ers did sign Eddie Pinero. They got rid of Moody, who's their kicker, who was really doing some struggling. They got Pinero, a veteran there to kind of kick. So they'll probably get better in the field goal side of things. And also Thomas Morstead, our great punter, one of the greatest punters, if not the greatest punter. He's the greatest punter Saints ever had, Tommy Morstead. He's punting for the 49ers, and it would be good to see Tommy Morstead back. And maybe not as a 49er, but he's one of my all-time favorite people and favorite Saints with them in the special team. So they're very, in terms of the place kicker and a punter, very experienced unit, but Pinero's just getting there. So that's a few things to talk about. But in the light of things, the Saints got to take care of business. I think the defense will settle up and handle up for us. The offense has to get it together, man. They got to get the personnel together, and we got to handle up. Bottom line, no fans buts about the shit. We got to take care of business, right? OG said no excuses. That's exactly what it is. No excuses. Jack says, I want to see some more fire from Rattler. Yell at them dudes that be messing up. He played solid last week. He did a decent job. He gave people an opportunity to step up. Tanya, you're absolutely right. We need to see Mason Tipton. Where is Mason Tipton indeed? We have not seen Mason Tipton do his thing. Where is Mason Tipton? Mason Tipton made a lot of plays for the Saints. He's one of these beasters that you got to get these guys on the goddamn field. You got to get these guys on the field. You got to get them on the field. All right. Anyway, man, listen, I'm going to get ready to cut out on that, man. Listen, man, I apologize for the sound, man, for tonight. The bottom line is the message is the Saints have to kick some tail. Right? We got to handle up the goodness. We got to smash down on these 49er folks. And we got to reset our season. We got to get this stuff going. We got to do it the right way. That's the bottom line. Getting a win against this smashed up 49er team on offense would be a good thing for us to do in the Who Dat Nation. Plus, you got to defend the dome. You got to redeem yourself from don't hit the Y'all help me out on that. But anyway, I'm gonna get ready to cut out on that. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man. And we're gonna keep this thing moving, man. Saints need a dub, man. We gotta get a dub. We will get a dub. We gotta handle the business. With that being said, I'm gonna get on out. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Much love to y'all, man. I'll holler at y'all on next one. Much love. Who that? Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, brother like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network. WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop.